Hey, this is Moshe.
This is Polly.
And you're watching
The Human
Collective.
All right.
On tonight's episode, we have local comedian extraordinaire, Mr. Chris Nee.
What is going on, everybody? I'm happy to be here.
And it's good to meet you for the
It's
first
good
time.
to meet you, too. Yes, pleasure. Handshakes all around.
So you guys might not know that he is a comedian in the Philadelphia area. He's in the Helium, the Comedy Club in Philadelphia, and numerous other comedic venues. He's also, along with his brother, owners of the Healing Hats and Toys charity that helps children that are battling cancer.
His brother Tommy. Shout out Tommy.
Shout out Tommy.
Sorry we couldn't have you here.
Maybe next time.
So, Chris, can you tell us a little bit about what started you with the whole charity?
Yeah, so the charity started, me and my brother found it in 2010, so we've been going since 2010. It all started because I'm a cancer survivor. I battled it from age 4 to 8. I had ALL leukemia cancer, so I went through the works, chemotherapy, lost all my hair, have a permanent scar on my chest from the port.
Wow.
The works.
What is that type of leukemia you mentioned?
So it's in the blood cells, so I have a certain blood type, and I didn't have a lot of it, and I was low on white blood cells, which are important for your body to work.
Yeah. It helps with the immune system.
Yes,
right?
exactly. Yeah, and I didn't have a lot of that at all. And I could have died. It could have been deadly. Thankfully, I didn't. But yeah, I mean, I battled from 4 to 8, so my childhood upbringing was different, but it was still it was awesome. But I was just limited on some things that I can and can't do. But that's exactly where entertainment came in. As a kid, so
let me ask just a side note.
Yeah,
being sick at such a young age, it must have kind of changed your outlook on life. Being so young and that close to death, without even really experiencing all the trials and tribulations of an adult.
100%. Yeah, like school was different. Like grade school, because I would be in classes, but then I would be sick, so then I would miss months of class, and I would miss time with my friends, with my family. In recess, we would always go to the park and play stuff. Wall ball, do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we played that a lot. But, unfortunately, the rule was you can't hit Chris because I would get hurt, injured, hurt because of my.
So they kind of labeled you as the sick.
Yeah, yeah, and it was just I just always had to be more cautious growing up. So I couldn't play football, which I felt like an outcast not playing football because grade school football was you were the man when you played grade school football. But I played basketball. I was actually pretty good at basketball. I played all the way up until high school.
Right on.
But yeah, football, all my friends were playing, and then but I couldn't because I couldn't get hit because I couldn't get hurt.
Yeah.
And then my parents were like, "You can play flag football." I'm like, "Yeah."
That's what
I want to do. That's how I'm going to get the girls.
I think you still get the cool jacket though,
yeah,
right?
You get the jacket.
That's what matters, is that jacket.
Yeah, and then so football, and then in high school, I still I was playing basketball and stuff like that. I've been cancer free for a while now in high school, but a lot of friends were playing lacrosse and football, and I still couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So, but I did excel in basketball though, so that was cool.
Was the high school you went to was in Delaware County?
It was, yeah. I went to a Bonner. Senior Bonner High School, so yeah.
Are you familiar with that?
No.
It's okay.
Polly and I actually are from the same neighborhood in Philly, but she went to a private school and I went to a public school.
Okay.
Oxford Circle.
Yeah, Oxford Circle.
Okay.
I went Catholic
Are you
school.
an Eagles fan?
I am an Eagles fan.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, that's
Yeah.
Can you think he's not?
No,
I'm
no.
really upset with him.
No, I'll ride the Eagles bandwagon. But the Eagles are they've always been one of these teams where they do really well. They'll get to the playoffs. They get everyone behind them, and then they choke at the end.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who's on the team or who's coaching.
Not a real
It's
thing.
a common thread. I think that all the way back from the vet to the link, there's some kind of mojo. What's the word? Voodoo or something like that.
Yeah.
They're a Super Bowl team, so you can't.
They're a Philly team.
Can't hate too much.
I don't care if they win or lose.
Weird with professional sports though. Nowadays, when I was young, it was all professional sports. But then I used to be big into the NBA. I hardly watch the NBA now. I just think they get paid so much money and they barely work. They don't follow shots. They don't barely play defense. But I'll watch hockey and football all day.
How old are you?
I'm 28.
Oh, you're 28.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm a little older than you are, but
Yeah.
I'm 30. How old am I? 37 now?
Okay.
I'm old enough to where I can forget my age.
Yeah.
So, but we're sort of in that same generation where the NBA was great back in the day, days of like Jordan and Shaq and even Dennis Rodman. Like I like those guys.
But even back then, like your team sucked. Like this team, the starting 5 on every single team are all stars. Back then, you had like one good player on the team, and the 4 were like kind of cool. But but it's weird.
He was so good, he didn't have to show up to practice.
Yeah.
Remember that whole thing?
Yeah.
He was fun.
But,
he was short too.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
But he could ball. I mean, that's really all that matters.
He had the flyest shoes of all time. Man. I still have a pair that I wear.
He was just a fly guy. He had that swagger.
He bought hip hop to the NBA. Like he didn't show up in a shirt and tie. He had like a big chain. The cornrows was tatted up, and nobody was doing that. And he just didn't care.
Dennis Rodman tried, but he fell into a much different.
He went on a whole other spectrum with that.
He was a little more flamboyant, kind of, which is
he
fine.
got noticed.
He
Right?
did.
He's still on the limelight.
Yeah, he went to North Korea and hung out with the dictator over there, right?
You
didn't know about that?
No,
That was like a big thing. That was this like kind of big news story that no one could get to North Korea except Dennis Rodman of all people.
Yes.
He might be an alien. I don't think he's human.
That explains a lot.
I read his book when I was a kid. I was like a huge Dennis Rodman fan. Yeah,
and read his book.
And
he sat down and read his book.
Yes.
Wow.
And Shaquille O'Neal, I bought his CD. Remember he did hip hop for a while? He had like the Superman plaque where he was playing off of the S.
Yeah.
And anyway, he did all right. I mean, it wasn't too bad. He could rap a little bit.
Yeah. But growing up, that kind of got me into entertainment, though.
Yeah.
As a young kid,
Absolutely.
Growing up, I was always fascinated by everything entertainment. I loved movies. I loved TV shows. I loved stand-up comedy. I even loved like behind-the-scenes stuff that I had no clue about, like directing and editing and makeup effects and stuff like that. Everything just like was awesome to me. And I was just like addicted to like Saturday Night Live as a kid and stuff like that.
I'm still addicted to that.
Yeah, I can't get on it. Like back then, we had like the Powerhouse. Like all the people were like great. But when I was young, since I said that I was like limited to like some things that I could do, I always just made videos. I had my dad's big doors, like the big ones, and
with the battery packs the size of a laptop.
And I just always had a camera on me. I would make like my own show, like the Chris Nee show. I would try to do impressions, and my friends were like cool. They supported me a lot. Like they would be in my videos, and like we would just be in my basement just filming. I just always had a video camera on me. Even like when I was sitting down on the couch watching TV, I was literally videotaping like the X Games. I was like, like it just always fascinated me.
So you've always been somewhat of an entertainer, performer.
Yeah, and I think it came from that. Like when I was younger, and then surviving cancer, just like it gave me the outlook of you only have one life, and like so many people are so scared to live up to their potential or take that leap to do something great because they think they're going to fail or they think it's unachievable. And like we were talking earlier, like people are making millions of dollars playing video games now. Like anything is achievable, you know?
Shout out Ninja.
Yeah, exactly. But
on Twitch.
But yeah, I mean, it's just always been there for me, I guess. Like
what was it that led you from just being that kind of charismatic guy, like always wanting to make people laugh, to trying to do that professionally? Because that takes a lot of balls. To get up there and spill your guts.
I think that came just from like the you only have one life mentality too thing. Like I just got into this weird headspace. Like I don't care. Like I've always been like that though. Like since I was a kid, like I don't care about being cool. I don't care about like, I just love everybody. So like, if you want to hang out, like we'll hang out and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But like, I always just didn't care about a label. And I just had to like, I always just think what's the worst that can happen. So I was like, if I do a mic, what's the worst that can happen? I can bomb in front of these people, but I'm never going to see them again. They don't know who I am. I could walk out here and no one will even know what I did.
Yeah.
I guess like growing up, high school hit me, I guess, because I wasn't like great in school. I was great in like English, creative writing, like those things, because I always thought that they were great for you know, exactly, for what I wanted to do. So I was horrible at math and stuff like that. But when I was in high school, like I was 16 in high school, and my friends were talking about colleges and what they wanted to do. And I always wanted to act. I always wanted to do stand-up. I always just wanted to do something, but I just never acted on it. So just one night, I just like Googled open mics, Philadelphia.
That's where you started.
Yeah, that's how it happened. And I still remember the first time I ever did stand-up comedy. My first set, I remember everything.
What was that like?
It was a disaster.
Did you sweat?
I was.
People laughed and they just it was crickets.
So I was 16 years old.
Whoa, you were 16.
16 years old.
Wow,
Yeah.
you're brave.
And back then, I don't know if this is still rolling out. I was actually last week when I was doing a show at a Philly Comedy Club. I was talking to like the comedians. Back then, you had to be 18 to do an open mic. I don't know if that's still the thing now, because like a lot of open mics are in bars and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
But I thought since it was a comedy club that like anybody can go.
Yeah.
So I remember going in, and there's a sign-up sheet, and the guy was like, "Are you 18?" And my dad was like, "Yeah, he's 18." So I signed it. Yeah, I signed it, and I waited out in the parking lot until the person before me was going to go up. And I remember it clear as day. The person before me completely bombed. Like,
did that kind of help settle your nerves a
no,
little bit?
it made it so
quiet.
much worse. This was a grown man, and you could hear a pin drop on the floor, and it got so bad that after he was bombing, he just started cursing off everybody in the crowd.
Whoa.
So he was like, "You don't think that's funny, bitch? You don't think that?" Like, and he was just like cursing.
He went full Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah, just berating people. And I just like looked at my dad, and I was like, I don't know if I could do this.
Yeah.
And then my dad,
yeah,
I'm 16. I'm like going up there to talk about like poop jokes. Like, it's like not gonna be funny. And I'll never forget, my dad said that night, he's like, "You can either go up there right now and see if this is for you, or I'll take you home right now. No one will ever know that you were here. No one will ever know that you did this." He's like, "But since we're already here," he's like, "I think you should give yourself the benefit of the doubt to see if this is really for you."
Yeah.
That's some good parenting right there.
Yeah.
Good parenting.
My parents, well, my family in general, like my parents and my brother, they always been like my biggest supporters. My dad still comes to like every show. Like he's like, yeah, like my mom, like they'll always just like try to go whenever they can. Obviously life happens and stuff, but he's always been like my biggest fan. But I remember I went up there I did a bit, because I'm more of like a storyteller. I've always been like that. So I just tell like funny stories, and it's really embarrassing. I talked about how I was scared of clowns, and I thought
clowns.
Yeah.
To this day, there's something really creepy
about clowns. Yeah. But like my joke was, I thought clowns were like their own identity. Like not
their
humans.
own species.
Yeah, and then like
they have no genitals.
Yeah,
just clowns.
Yeah, just clowns.
It's like a Barbie doll.
And then like they were just like their own thing. And then I was like, so my family was cheap growing up, and I had my birthday at McDonald's, and Ronald McDonald gave me a birthday cake, and I got so scared that I jumped on him and started beating him up. And I was like, and as I start punching him, the paint started coming off of my hand. And I realized that he's actually a real human being. And then I was like, so I'm banned from every McDonald's. But I got laughs. Like I got laughs. So it was cool. Like right when you get the first laugh, like it's kind of just like,
it's encouraging.
It is. And like being on stage, like there's just nothing like it. You get this adrenaline that like you literally like feel like you're high.
Yeah.
Without taking anything.
You probably get addicted to that, right?
You do. Like you just like it's just like goes through your whole body until like you're off stage. And then it's still, even like last weekend when I did a show at Philly Comedy Club on Saturday, after the show was over at like 11. I was so awake afterwards. Like, this is awesome. I was like, this like, yeah.
Caffeine.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, so that was like the first time that I did it. And then I started taking acting classes when I was 16. I went to the Actor Center in Philadelphia.
Okay.
And they trained you on camera, so like commercials. They trained you on voiceover, stage combat, so like fighting and stuff like that. Just stuff like that. And then with them, like I got an agent. So like when you're with that company, you're with their agency. So I got my first like taste of like auditions. So I would go to New York for a couple auditions and stuff like that. Never got anything, but the money for these things were crazy. I remember
just for small spots, commercials.
I remember I was 17 and I went to New York and it was a Nintendo Wii commercial.
Mm-hmm.
So I go into the room and like they're like, oh, just like this is your family, this is your mom, this is your dad, this is your brother and sister. Never met the people before in my life, and they're like, just pretend like you're playing the game or whatever. And so like we're just like having a good time. But I read the paper. It was like a 48-hour shoot, so I'd only be working 2 days, not even full days, and it was like $830.
Oh
like,
wow!
And I was 16. I was 17. I was 17. I was like, I'm rich. Like if I get this, I'm rich. But I didn't get it. But I did the acting classes, which really helped for stand-up. Even Dave Chappelle said it. He said, like, if you want to get into stand-up comedy, besides like the writing and stuff, like take acting classes.
Yeah. What does it help with the most? Is it just the confidence and the sort of security of being in front of people and performing, or
for me personally, because I come from a theater background as well.
Okay.
So when like I did acting and stuff, but when I went to community college, I did theater productions there. So I did like Shakespeare, like me doing Shakespeare. But my acting teacher was the coolest, Stephen Smith. He knew that I loved comedy and he knew I was funny. So every single show that he did, he would make me the comedy character. Mm-hmm. So I got to be as outrageous as I wanted all the time. But the acting, it does help with confidence on stage. But I'm like, if you've seen me like perform, I'm like active on stage. I don't like just standing up there and just like talking. Like I like doing voices. I like doing movements. Yeah, I like doing movements. Like I'll use the mic stand as like a prop. Or I remember when Lamar Odom, when he did like that Coke bender in the Bunny Ranch in Vegas.
Oh yeah, I remember
that. I did a joke that he took Viagra before the Bunny Ranch and he passed out from cocaine, and he was just like, I said the cops found him in the bathroom with like a raging boner, but it was unresponsive. So I took like the mic stand and like put it in there. But like I just love being like active. So acting classes helps with that, but it also helps with projecting. A lot of people don't, even though you have a microphone, you have to project.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Some people project too much, that it gets staticky or like it like burns
the people's ears
in the front. And it also helps you with like memorization too, because like when I write my my material, I have that acting mentality. So like I write a script for my material. So it helps me memorize what I want to do. And then if I can't think of it word from word, I have like a mental title range in my head. Okay. So like I'll be like, okay, I'm going to start with the poop joke. I'm going to start with
still doing the poop
dating.
Jokes.
I do still do poop jokes because
they work.
I suffered from in high school IBS, which was the start of my anxiety. But at first it was IBS, which was like the worst. So irritable bowel syndrome. Yeah. Okay. So I always open with, did you ever go to the bathroom, take a look at your own shit, and think to yourself, I'm not going to live long? And just right away, like everyone would just be laughing. And then I would be like, yeah, like I would survive. And then I'd look in the mirror and say, you're not going to go today, Elvis Presley, because he died on the toilet. That would get a cheap laugh.
Yeah, I thought it was overdose.
On the toilet.
Oh, that's a tough way.
Yeah. But
just like mid poop.
But
and then people find you like that. Like, that's the word, people to find you on the toilet. Oh.
Yeah. But that's why like
smells. You know, that's the worst.
And if it was an Elvis fan that found him,
man,
first responders or whatever.
But so this stuff like that.
It's long. There's enough lapse in time where you can laugh at it.
You can laugh at it.
Yeah. But
like 9/11, that's kind of borderline.
You
gotta be. It's touchy, but Elvis.
The only one who can really do that now is like Pete Davidson. You know, for Saturday Night Live.
Yeah. Real pale guy.
You know his like, you know his background though. No. His dad was a firefighter at 9/11, and his dad died.
Yeah.
In 9/11.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so like he makes jokes about it.
Well, he does the thing where he like makes jokes that are like
exactly. Yeah,
too
that's
soon.
like
You're like,
it's
who's the roast master guy? The Jewish guy.
Jeffrey Ross.
Yeah, so Jeff Ross did a joke at a roast in front of him about his dad.
Yeah.
But he got like the okay to do the joke first, and he thanked him.
Because
it was fun. I mean, you know, he's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, he's mastered that art form.
Because Snoop Dogg was on that roast too. So Jeffrey Ross said, The only person who inhales more smoke than Snoop Dogg is Pete Davidson's dad.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah.
You got away with it. You pulled it
But
off.
his first special, Pete Davidson's first special, is called SMD, and
Yeah.
it's his dad's initials.
Yeah,
And
also-
like his joke, but it's also like suck my dick.
Yeah.
So his like big joke was, I'm gonna get SMD tatted like on my neck. He's like, I win every time. He's like, if somebody says you're a pig, I'm like, my dad died in 9/11. He's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry.
That's great.
Yeah, but yeah, so
I did
that's
not know that about him.
yeah.
What do you think about Chappelle's newest stand-up? I mean, he really went to the edge of
Yeah.
that plank and just.
Did you see Bill Burr's as well?
Yep,
I did.
he's
Yeah, I
on
watched
both.
Burrs too.
Dave Chappelle is one of my all-time favorite comedians.
Same.
Top 3, it's Dave Chappelle, Bill Burr, and Dane Cook. They're like my favorite.
Dane
of all.
Cook.
I'm
That's a throwback.
I know. That's
because
a
I'm a
way back.
'90s kid.
Yeah,
And
he
Before Kevin Hart, like Dane Cook was literally like a comedic rock star.
Yeah, he
This
was the
dude
guy.
was selling, like he did Madison Square Garden before all these other comedians are doing Madison Square Garden. There's a list like 5 people before he did Madison Square Garden, but he's still on that list.
Yeah,
He sold out like the TD Bank in Boston. Like he was bigger than
he was
life.
huge.
And
think
I
he
just like
used-
admired it. And I like because he's active on. That's what I loved about Chappelle too, because Chappelle does the characters. He's active on stage and like he acts out.
Yeah.
That's what Dane does.
Entertaining. It's like
That's
more of a show.
exactly.
Physical
Yeah.
comedy.
Because when I think of stand-up comedy, I think of like a show, you know. So like I want to perform, but not just with my
Voice.
jokes. I
Mhm.
want to perform.
Yeah.
So that's. But Dave, his new special was fantastic.
I thought so
And
too.
Bill
I
Burr's new special was fantastic.
Yeah, Bill Burr did his in the UK. I think he was a little
Yeah.
worried about the topics he was going to touch on.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to hear that pin drop.
Yeah,
So he went and jumped
Yeah.
across the pond and was like, well, I can get away with these jokes more here.
it's
Then
the
I-
cancel
yeah.
culture in America.
It's-
That's what it is.
it is, but like Dave Chappelle is already established as one of the biggest
Yeah.
comedy names of all time.
Yeah.
So he can literally say whatever he wants to say. He's not going to get canceled. He's
Yeah.
not going to
He's
not.
No,
He's not going to not sell out arenas.
Yeah.
He's not
Bill
going
Burr
to.
would have been fine though if he did.
Yeah.
I think he
Bill
would've been
Burr
fine,
pushes
too.
the edge too, but he's exactly like Dave. He was on the Chappelle show with him a lot.
Yeah.
Like they both just have this. They're comedians. They want to talk about whatever they want to talk about. They don't care if it offends anybody. They're going to say what they want to say, and I admire that because
Yeah.
it's stand-up comedy is free speech, and with the cancel culture, like we're saying, it is getting to a point where it's hard to like be yourself and
Yeah.
be creative.
For
Yeah.
sure.
I'm not saying
You're
that-
putting on this auto filter.
Yeah,
Mhm.
And that sucks because it's changing the medium. You know,
Yeah.
it should be that one place where anything goes. I mean, you look
Yeah.
back in the day, like Andrew Dice Clay, George Carlin,
mm-hmm.
Richard Pryor. These guys, like they hit on race and religion and politics,
Yeah.
and it was cool. It
But
was
it's
fun.
funny though because the audience back then, like they know it's a joke, so
Yeah.
That's the
They
problem.
don't-
It's like,
they
why
don't-
are people
they
so
don't
butthurt
take it
about
personally.
Some shit's just funny.
I think
Exactly.
It's just like that. The cancel culture is like a mob almost. Like you hear, oh,
It
this person
is.
said this.
Like
You might not even see what they did or the context that they put the joke in, and you just hear someone said that, like, oh wow, cut them off, and they don't even have a venue to explain
That-
themselves or
that's
to
what they're
discuss
doing
happened.
with
You just cut them off. All communication. You just don't
Yeah.
have a platform anymore.
And also, I think Chappelle said this on his stand-up. It's like what he says is not what is heard
yeah,
because
Yeah.
it passes through the human filter. You know, and the way people interpret it
yeah,
is different than literally verbatim what's coming out of his mouth. And whatever his angle is, it may not be the way they receive
Yeah.
it. And then people get all bent out of shape.
But people should hear it for themselves. I think that's like the part of the
Yeah.
A lot of-
But I
They're
think
not hearing
first
for
they need to
themselves.
lighten up a little
they have to like
Yeah.
and just chill
They-
out
they
and
really
just
do.
enjoy that it's someone literally they're standing in front of you like yourself with a microphone, animated, doing a performance that's meant to make you laugh.
yeah, like they're trying to entertain
So,
you.
yeah,
It's
it's like-
really vulnerable position
Yeah.
up there, just
It-
trying
oh,
to make
yeah.
people laugh.
Yeah.
I
I
just
couldn't do it.
it,
I
it's,
get scared.
it gets
Like with the
crazy.
lights on you
Yeah.
and all these eyes staring
It
at
does,
you.
yeah.
I couldn't do
It gets
no.
crazy too because some comedian could post a bit on his YouTube or whatever. It's a half-hour show,
Yeah.
and people took one bit and they didn't even finish the rest of the bit, but that they put that little part out, and then they're labeling them without showing the full evidence. I'm all for like free speech. Like I don't think that. I mean, I think anybody could say whatever they want to say, but in a respectful manner. Like you could bring up any topic, like race, religion, the lesbian, gay community. Like you could bring all of that up if you do it respectful. Yeah, the letters. Like if you do it respectful. Like if you know that I'm not coming, like I'm berating you, or I'm like literally saying racist stuff to you about your religion or your race,
intentionally made to hurt.
Like if you say it and you know that it's a joke. Like I don't really feel this way about you. It's just a joke.
Right.
Like that's how it used to be with comedy. Like people thought everything was hilarious.
Just in conversation. Like for example, my father passed away, but before he did, he was a Vietnam vet.
Yeah.
So he was at the hospice at the what the hell do they call that? Where the vets go.
I know what it's called. I just can't think about it.
Why can't I think of it? Anyway, it was in the veterinary. Yeah, that was a hospice, but for vets. Like, what do they call that? When they go down to their hospital, whatever. And so he's just sitting around with all these old dudes that were, in the war, and they're from all different walks of life, different races, different cultures, and they're all just taking shots at each other.
Yeah.
But one thing that they were doing was sitting around laughing.
Yeah.
Because it was funny.
Yeah.
They could appreciate the humor in indifference. And unfortunately, that's like the last of that old school generation. The people that are now like in their late 50s, early 60s, that can truly appreciate that type of humor. And it's like our generation, I might be a little older, but our generation is sort of on the cusp of being really fucking sensitive.
I've been saying that, like, this is like literally the worst generation. Like in general, like
especially the 20-something.
Social media is taking over everybody's life. Nobody really has personable skills. Like you can't talk to somebody in person.
Text.
If dating, you could text whoever a million times, and then when you go on that date, you can't even say one word to each other. And it's like we literally were talking all the time, and then we're in person, and you're acting like we don't know this. And then just like the sensitivity, it's just I don't know. People just need to
chill out
just like a little bit. The same people that are writing that stuff about people living in their parents' basement in their pajama pants, unemployed, just looking for trolling you for no reason. And you don't get anything from it.
No.
Like, you can get fired from something. That guy's out of a job, but like, what do you get from that? It's not like
what's the sense of satisfaction you get from trolling? A like, or someone commenting on your comment?
Especially personally, like, if you don't know somebody, even if you do, I don't understand why you would want to go to that part where you're going to be so personal to them to like try to ruin them. Like try to ruin them.
It's gotta be jealousy to some extent because they see someone is getting notoriety or getting noticed, and like you said, they're just in their parents' basement waiting to get their allowance or for their update to download on their Xbox.
Like it's the truth. It's just weird. But like back to what I was saying, like with comedy though, where like I feel like everything should just, you can say whatever you want to say, but it's just your delivery and like the way that you actually say it. Like last weekend, I was at Philly Comedy Club on Saturday. It was a sold out show with this guy, Welly Jackson. Shout out to Welly if he's watching. He was on like Orange is the New Black. He opens for Tracy Morgan, Tiffany Haddish.
That's awesome.
And it was a diverse crowd. There was white people, there was black people, there was Asians, there was everybody.
Yeah.
And performance-wise, the host, the two openers, and the headliner were all African Americans. I was the only white comedian on that lineup. It's obvious to everybody when I go up on stage that I'm the only white person there.
Yeah.
So I went up there and I said, "Welcome to the Caucasian portion of the show." And everybody laughed because they know, like, I didn't say it like, I'm white. Like, like I said it in a funny manner.
This obvious thing.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody was laughing. And then, like, just that's how it should be. Like, I'm not, like, trying to think I was special because
you can joke about white people.
Obvious.
Nowadays, you can say anything you want about, especially white men. You can tear them to shit.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That's it. But that's it. You can't do anyone else.
But like,
it might be funny just to do a whole race bit, but just on white.
Yeah.
It's a white guy attacking white people
But like
for your entire set, just slaughtering Caucasians.
Because that's all you can do now.
yeah.
And then at the end, like, you're all racist, by the way.
Yeah,
Everyone.
because they're all going to be laughing. That's what it is.
But like that show was just like beautiful. Everything. Like
Yeah.
it was everybody from different backgrounds, races together. Everybody went to have a good time. Everybody was laughing. Everybody, like, nobody was heckling. Nobody was doing. And then after the show, so many people like come up to you, dude, that was great. That was great. And like
That
it's
must have
just
felt good.
it's
Yeah.
cool because like it was so diverse. So it shows that like everybody can get along and have a great time if you just have the right mentality. Everybody's mentality was, I'm going to a comedy show. I'm going to enjoy my night. I might be on a date. I
Yeah.
might, bring my mom out. Like, I just want to have a good time, have a couple drinks, and laugh. That's what it should be. But
That's
it's just getting
awesome,
crazy. Yeah.
Have you ever taken a date to a comedy show?
No, but I've had girls who I did date, and they found out that I did comedy.
Oh,
And
okay. Was that a good thing or?
It was a bad thing.
Really?
Why? You don't have to laugh.
Every girl I've ever met, you're like, well, what do you like in a man? I like a man that can make me laugh.
Yes.
Every woman.
Every
Like
girl
that.
says that until you're actually serious. And then they're like, everything's a fucking joke to you. Like,
Unless you're an actual comedian.
mhm.
Damn. No.
But it was a negative because I've taken girls that I was saying to my shows, but sometimes
Right, look like a hot shot doing that.
Yeah.
I'm just going knock this
Yeah.
guy out real quick and
Right
backstage.
here.
well, the one was dope because a couple years ago I did a tour around Philly. I got like 6 of my comedy friends,
Yeah.
and I named it the Academic Probation Tour because I had academic probation in community college, so I turned like a negative into a positive, which is hilarious because the community college did a write-up on me and they wanted me to perform.
Really?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
comes full
Yeah.
circle.
Yeah. But
Was it CCP?
it was DCCC.
Okay,
Delaware
that's
County,
Delaware
yeah.
County. Gotcha.
But during that stint, we had 4 shows. Do you know the Trocadero Theatre?
Oh yeah.
We had the main stage.
Okay, that's the one with the
Main
balcony,
stage.
right?
Yeah.
They have the big.
They had the balcony, which is a 250 seater, and then they have the main stage, which is a 2,500 person
It's a big
theater.
venue.
So the first show, I was with the booking agent at that time, and he said, "I'll give you guys the balcony. If you do good, I'll bring you to the main stage." So I'm like, okay. So we went to the balcony, and we sold like 100 and something tickets on a Sunday night, and it was the season that the series premiere of Game of Thrones,
Oh, yeah.
when its first
That's
start
tough.
came
That's
out.
a tough sell.
And we sold it out. It was like 100
Wow.
people.
That's
So then
awesome.
the guy was like, I'm going
That's
to give you the
amazing.
main stage. And I remember before the first main stage show that I did, me and my friend Rick Marachi, who's also a comedian, he works for WMMR, Andrew Dice Clay was at the Troc.
Nice.
And me and him went to the show because he got tickets from work. And we were just
Brain smasher.
we're just sitting there. We're like, we're about to be on the same stage next week that Andrew Dice Clay
It's
is
a
on
legend.
right now.
Yeah.
This dude sold out the Garden
Yeah.
when nobody sold out like the Garden. This dude was the epitome of rock star
Yeah.
back then.
I still follow him on social media.
Yeah, he's still killing it.
He does these little bits. He does these skits.
And he
with
still does the
Kerrigan,
old school stuff.
The woman that tours with him.
Yeah,
And he's still funny.
she's still his opener. She opened
Yeah.
for him, and
She's
like
funny
she was
too.
doing jokes and like
Is she from Philly? She's got a
I
Philly.
don't know if
accent.
she's from Philly or not. But people were like getting uncomfortable, like because she does like sexual jokes too. And
Does she?
Yeah,
She's
and
got
she
a
was like,
housewife
she was
kind
like,
of
"Do you
vibe.
know what type of show you're at tonight?" She's like, "I'm finger fucking you right now. Dice is gonna come out and fuck you." And like everyone was just like going crazy. But I did the one theater show that we had there. I recorded my first comedy album.
Yeah.
It was called "Birth of a Professional Moron." It was like my first half-hour album.
Is that available online?
It was on iTunes. I just have like hard copies now because I want to work. I'm working on a new one that I want to do. I want to do an hour, but it's just like still in the writing phases and stuff like that.
So when you do that, obviously you'd have to record it at a venue in front of a crowd.
So fortunately, the Trocadero, they have like when we did the main stage, it was like we had light guys, we had security, we had like stuff like that. No, we're not famous, but the one guy who does like the audio, he recorded like he can record your stuff, so he mic'd up the audience, so he just recorded my whole set, and then he broke it down into tracks, and then I sent it back to him, and then There's like this CD company where like you just pay for the tracks and then they burn it on however many CDs you want.
Yeah.
But that was like the coolest thing ever doing a theater. My whole goal was I always wanted to do a theater show, just because like
you have a theater background.
Yeah. But it was really really cool. And but I bought a girl there and like I thought it was cool. It's like I'm about just to
She was impressed.
show.
Yeah.
But
what happened with that? Just didn't work out, or?
Yeah, it just didn't work out. But then a lot of like I was trying to, before I got sidetracked a little bit. I dated a couple girls and they found out that I was a comedian and they just ghosted you and stopped talking to you because they're scared that they're going to end up as material.
Oh,
like
and they will.
Yeah.
I'm sure they will.
Well,
Yeah.
do you talk about that? Like, is that part of? Do you talk about? You don't list their names or anything, right?
No, I would never
That's
do
funnier.
that. But,
You would do it.
Invite her to the show. Call her out. And
call her out.
Yeah.
That's so embarrassing.
Spotlight her.
I can feel for them now.
Yeah, no, I was in a relationship with this one girl, and she came to the first theater show that I did, and then when I went there again, we weren't together anymore. So yeah, I went in a little bit, but like it was like not like that. Like it was completely respectful. I was just calling out like weird stuff she did.
Okay.
Like,
But you didn't say her name.
Such
no. I would never say her name. But like a lot of people. Well,
We're
okay.
curious now.
So when we
Now I'm
were
a little curious.
dating,
Hold on, real quick. What's her Instagram
No.
handle?
Pull up her Instagram picture.
so one thing for breakfast, she would want a half cup of dry cereal. Dry cereal.
She lactose intolerant or
No,
something?
no, just
Maybe she had a weak bladder.
just
That's
dry
weird.
cereal. It was weird.
I
And
wouldn't
then,
do that. It is a little
so
I only eat dry cereal when I'm out of milk 'cause I'm broke.
yeah, the one time my brother's married, we went on vacation, and we did like a double date thing, and we went mini putting, and she wasn't good at mini putt,
Yeah.
and she like
Well, it's not her fault.
no, but like
She just doesn't have
I don't
to
think
say
kinda
like,
hard to be
nobody's
bad
like
at mini-
nobody's like yeah. But at one hole, like she got angry and like she threw the club, and my brother's wife was like looking at
It's
me.
mini golf.
Yeah, that's what I said
This
to
is
her.
the same girl as the cereal?
Yeah,
She's impatient.
That's-
That's what it is.
yeah.
Pouring the milk, she's like, it takes too long.
that's like saying, I'm like, baby, it's mini
She's
golf. Like
smacking.
even if you win, you don't win anything. Like you,
You didn't grab your
yeah, like that's
You might win another game of mini golf.
Yeah.
If you get at the end, you get some of them have that little hole in
Yeah,
one.
that's true.
And that's what you win, just another round of mini golf.
just
That's like Groundhog Day. You just keep doing it.
yeah, just weird stuff like that. And then like when we broke up, she created a blog and she just bashed me for like months.
Really?
It was called
This
the-
was before you went in on her on
Was it
stage?
comedy or after?
Yeah, this was like literally like right after like we
Oh,
broke
wow.
up.
So
But
that kind of fueled
she-
you to want to
that
get
fueled
back.
me. Like
Right.
that fueled me. That's why I did. Like that's why like I said like the shows I did. But it was just
That
like
wasn't that bad.
no.
Wasn't
That's
that
what I'm saying. Like
It's
I'm
like
never
actual
gonna like
events that
I'm
happen.
never gonna like really like personally go
Yeah,
after you.
that's
I
fair.
have I'm not like that.
You have integrity.
Yeah, I do. I try. But yeah, she had, it was like called like awesomely single or something like that. And she just bashed me for months. She was just like, yeah, my ex-boyfriend wanted to be a comedian. He has to work real hard if he wants to do that. I don't think he's funny. Like I'm like, I just
What?
did 4 theater shows, and I'm not like, and we're just
She was
local
with you.
comedians, and I was making money. It's not like I was just doing them. Like I made like, and it was I recorded an album. Like that's big.
That is
You
huge.
know, it was on
That's
iTunes
amazing.
and stuff like that. I think Andrew Dice Clay was just here, but
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's weird though. Girls,
Yeah.
some girls are totally into it though.
Well, fuck her and her dry cereal. Weird ass.
Yeah, I love girls with a sense of humor. That's like my main thing, personality and sense of humor. Like some girls, like they'll be like, "When's your next show? I want to go." That's like the first theater show. Like the girl supported me, and she's like, "Oh, I'll bring my girlfriends that I never met before." So the first time they're seeing me is on stage for
That's
20,
amazing.
25 minutes.
Yeah.
Probably an
But yeah, but I mean, some girls are cool. They're like, they love it, but just sometimes it's just a hit or miss.
That's how it is.
Yeah,
So your marital status right now is single.
I am single
And
and
you're
ready
you're
to mingle.
Ooh.
No, I'm kidding. I am single, yes.
You can zoom in on
Do you
that.
do? I know you talked a little bit about this in some of your stand-up that I heard, but what do you think about the dating apps, like dating online?
I hate them.
Yeah.
I hate them so much.
Which
I
one
like the
have
one
you
that you
used?
said about girls wanting to go on adventures.
Every
that was
girl's-
hilarious.
Every girl's profile says that.
People do like going on an adventure.
They'll
It's
have-
silly.
They'll have 4 pictures. It's like a selfie, a picture with their dog, a picture of them drinking
And
alcohol
jumping.
and then the quote is like, recently graduated with a bachelor's, looking for someone to go on adventures with. Every single girl. I'm like, as I said in the bed, I'm like, we live in Philadelphia. Like, what do you want?
That was hilarious.
Yeah, that Kensington joke. That killed. That was hilarious.
Truthfully though, the one thing that I hate about dating apps is it is very one-sided. But
Yeah.
honestly, like, so if you're on a dating app, girls are going to get way more messages,
Dick
inbox
pics and
than guys
sexual-
are. That's just how it is. Like, I've never had like multiple girls hit me up on like a dating app, like, hey, like, what's up?
No.
Like, they like the guy to send the first message, but girls, their inbox is filled. So like, sometimes they'll see it, sometimes they don't, and then even if they do, they're getting so many that they forget about you. So the chances of you getting a reply are just like,
But I heard it's because guys don't like really read or look at the profiles. They just like
see,
hit yes
I'm
on everything
complete
and then just see what
opposite.
hits.
I
That's what I heard.
I
happens.
don't like or comment on pictures. Every dating app has like 4 sections that girls answer questions for. It says like, what are your favorite TV shows? What do you like to do
Yeah.
for fun?
And
I
you should
read every single
Whoa,
thing,
you're
and
the only one.
I comment specifically on that.
See?
So
That's amazing. I don't think anyone else does
every
that.
single
It's just
time
you.
I do that.
Yeah.
But I got
You're special.
I got catfished.
Oh, okay, you gotta tell us the story.
By the way, real quick, it's the VA hospital. Thank you, Tyler, who chimed in on the chat. So he's a VA hospital, dipshit.
Did we say that?
Thanks, man.
Isn't that what we said?
I think I said veterinary. Like my father was a fucking he fixed cats.
So you said veteran.
Did I?
Yeah.
What was the VA hospital? Shout out to the VA hospital in Philly, man.
Shout out to the VA hospital.
Shout out to nurses.
Yeah.
Hallie's a nurse, actually. She's a nurse practitioner. And honestly, like, you have to be cut from a certain cloth to be a nurse. Like, I have so much respect for nurses. Like,
Sorry.
I always said I wanted to marry a nurse. That's like one of my
Yeah.
biggest turn-ons ever is a
Yeah,
nurse.
It's tough.
Just
It's tough
because
life, you gotta be really
I
understanding.
love
Yeah.
helping people. That's like such a huge thing in my life. And if a girl does that for a living, I was just like,
Oh,
done.
they're hard workers.
Yeah,
Hard workers,
they
really
work
smart, and they're very caring.
crazy hours. The school's ridiculous. They have to do so
Yeah.
much work.
And the
I
actual
respect.
work
I have a lot of
is
I like
less.
girls
yeah, that's
that
the
I
thing
know
is
who are
the actual
nurses.
work.
Yeah, it's very
Like-
stressful. Always understaffed.
Yeah.
And
There's like rarely
It's not-
downtime. Like when you're a nurse, you're working.
You're on your
You're
feet.
working.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy. I have the utmost respect for
I'm
nurses.
surprised you don't rock the Crocs when you're at work.
You don't rock the
I
Crocs?
have. I don't. I had this pair. It looks like Crocs. Actually, someone said, "Oh, you're wearing you forgot your bedroom slippers." And I was like, "No, these are my nursing shoes."
Bedroom slippers?
They're really
I have to
ugly.
put that in the same category as house dress. House dress, bedroom slippers.
It's really ugly, but hey, they're comfortable. When you're getting on your feet all day, you gotta be comfortable.
Yeah.
That is true.
You know, Post Malone, the
Yeah.
hip hop guy,
Yeah.
him and like Justin Bieber right now are just pushing Crocs in the
Really?
fashion
They're trying
thing.
to make it
And they're
big.
gonna do it
Yeah.
too,
Oh, yeah.
because of who they are.
I mean, like, think about like what Kanye did with his whole clothing line and kind of keeping things real,
Yeah.
like dad clothes and the sneakers and the fanny pack. Now they're bringing
Fanny
Crocs
pack.
out, like as if.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
And I'm sure at some point, Crocs, like there'll be some certain brand, Off-White sponsoring Crocs will be
Oof.
like $700.
Yeah.
For a pair of
And
Crocs.
people are gonna buy them.
on, man.
People are gonna buy them.
Yeah, I'll buy
That's a crazy thing.
I'm not buying.
You gonna buy Crocs? Don't do
No,
that.
no.
That's
The
not
OG
cute.
Crocs are awesome because they are really comfortable.
I'm a big shoe guy, so I might cop.
Yeah.
All right, tell us about the catfish story.
Okay.
We have time? We
Yeah.
have time, right? We're still gonna get to the charity.
Yeah, no, we have
but
time.
I want
We
to
have
hear about
time.
the
Okay.
Crocs. Not the Crocs.
I was talking to a
Catfish
girl
story.
on one of the dating apps. I forget which one it was, but finally agreed for a date. First off, filters are like the worst thing ever. Girls use
What, like
filters.
age?
Dude, they do like
the
like
dog
in their actual
faces,
pictures,
yeah.
they do like the dog
they all
faces. They do.
the
Yeah.
kids'
So cute,
ears and the
though.
Yeah.
They make you look so
It's-
cute. And your eyes
Yeah,
all
but
big.
come on.
Oh.
Every time you
It's
swipe, it's like, oh, there's another one.
But you don't use it for like profile stuff, but just like for
Yeah.
fun.
No, but they
It's
do
fun.
on dating apps.
Yeah,
they
they do.
use
A lot
it
of them.
where it makes their cheeks rosier and they have the whiskers. It's like,
Yeah.
I've seen it.
But it's so cute.
But
Yeah,
and
yes.
but yeah, so I talked to a girl and I asked her on a date, and she was like hesitant to like go out, and I'm like,
But you guys were talking.
yeah, I'm like,
Okay.
we've been talking for like a couple weeks, and like you know like who I am, like you
Yeah.
know about like what I do, like charity and all that stuff. It's like, so you know I'm not like a serial killer, you know, and but she was hesitant. I thought it was like a red flag.
Yeah.
But when we finally like went out, she didn't look anything like the girl in her
Whoa.
pictures.
Was it like
Uglier?
her from years ago?
Yeah, that's the
Okay,
thing.
because there's
It was her.
two kinds of
It was
catfish.
her from
There's
like
men, and then there's
yeah.
Or just like maybe she got a lot bigger
if
and
she like
older.
if she like posted pictures from like freshman year in high school.
Oh.
So she just looked like
Really?
she looked like young, like her hair wasn't the same or nothing was the same. And I
And
was
all
just
the
like,
photos that she had posted were
yeah,
all old.
yeah.
Oh.
So how much
or they
older
were
was
like
she?
or they were like super close up to the face where like
Yeah.
you can't really like
Couldn't
or she'll
tell.
do a filter and you can't really see it.
Yeah.
So was she
Yeah.
ugly in real life?
No, I don't
IRL.
call anybody ugly, but I was
Was
just
she
taken back
unattractive?
because
Is she hard to look at? That's what
No.
I said. You're
Was
hard
she
to
not
look
easy
at.
on the eye?
She was like rough to squint.
You guys are
She had one eye that was lower than the other.
no, it's just she just wasn't who I thought like she was. Like talking.
So what did you say? Like, did you still have dinner? Did you still sit down?
Yeah, I'm not
Oh,
a
you're such a
jerk.
nice guy.
So yeah,
That is
we-
nice.
I was
yeah.
like,
I would have been like, you know, you're
Took
paying
her
for
on a
your own
nice-
meal. 'cause
yeah.
all this bullshit.
took her on a nice
thing.
date and we talked and stuff. But the one thing that I really respected that I think is like dead in this generation, we had a conversation like after the date, like when I was like talking when I got home, and she said, "Did you feel anything?" And I was like, honestly, I was like, I didn't feel anything. I was like, I didn't feel like a spark or a connection. She was like, yeah, I didn't either. But like we had that mutual conversation. So like
Yeah.
it wasn't
Oh,
a ghost.
yeah.
So we
No
we
weirdness.
ended. That was like the realest thing
That's nice.
ever that I think is like not in this generation.
Yeah.
Like if you go on a date,
you guessing.
if you go on a date and
and
somebody says, I'm having such a great time, I'd love to go on a second date. You text them the next day and you get ghosted and you never hear from them again. It's like, if you just said at the first date, like dating is a game. Like you gotta do it a lot until you find somebody special. So like if it's not gonna work, like I'd rather that night be like, yeah, I just don't think it's gonna work instead of like extending it out months.
yeah, and
and-
wasting your time.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that was cool. That was really cool. I respect you for that. That was cool.
You respect her for that, but not the catfishing.
Not
Right?
the catfish, not those. That
That's
was
true.
cool.
So was it that she was much older when you actually saw her?
No, it wasn't that she was much older. She just like people like they change like when they get older, like their face, their hair, like the
Circle
How many
Yeah.
years
Yeah.
did you say she was different from the photos?
maybe like 5, 6.
Oh,
something like
yeah.
that.
That's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
There's a range. Like you can post a photo that's maybe a year old.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or if you're doing something really exciting,
Yeah.
but then you should like put out this was when my trip and back
Yeah.
2 years ago or something like that.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
think about it. It's like dating online is so impulsive, right? It's
Yeah.
literally a visual before anything else.
Yeah.
Well, he reads.
Yeah,
he
he
reads
reads.
the
I do
profile.
No, I get that's cool, but I mean, you know, it's
Yeah.
always going to be the visual first,
Yeah.
and it's just like the swipe right, swipe left thing.
Yeah.
So that's the ultimate form of catfishing.
Yeah.
Because it's like that's the first
And it's
thing you see.
just like
That's what draws you in, and then the profile is what sells you.
yeah.
You know, it's like when you go to I don't want to relate it to a car dealership, but it's like all right.
My thing is
You're relating women to cars. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, I shouldn't say
It's impossible to judge somebody off of 4 pictures and like 3
Yeah.
questions. Like you can't really get to know somebody like that. And even with texting too, like I prefer like a FaceTime or a phone call, so it's like
Yeah.
you're having an actual conversation.
Yeah.
You can text all day, blah 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 blah
And you
blah.
really don't know what you're doing.
Exactly.
What you're
It's
doing.
just like, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not about that online dating.
So when you date now, being that the online dating is not really your thing,
How do you meet women?
It's hard. I don't know.
at
Like
the supermarket for
Yeah.
the
No,
food
at the
section.
coffee
But
cups. I'm
that's
sure
the
like
that's
all
the
lining
thing
up
too,
after
though. Like
that.
you can't. Like people don't have personable skills. Like people are so
Like, get away from me,
defensive.
creep.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like if you go up to a girl right away, she's going to be like, I have a boyfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was
think
like,
you'll
I
do
was
that
just
a lot of
asking if
times.
you know where. You
Oh
know,
no, I wait until I ask.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like
It's gotta be
quickly,
creeps.
like
Why?
quickly, people. And I think it has a lot to do with anxiety. People
Yeah.
have that bad anxiety. They have social anxiety and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
It's funny
makes
that
it hard.
social media created social anxiety.
So true.
I know girls that get thousands of likes on their Instagram pictures, and they make it seem like they're the happiest chick in the world. And if you see them on like in real life, like they're not like that at all. Even with guys, like some dudes, like they stunt, they think they're like the shit, but it's just on social media. You're doing it for
It's an
Instagram.
image. Yeah.
Like that's what I think too. This generation is more concerned about likes on an Instagram page than being a real person.
And
Yeah.
genuine.
Experiencing
That's
things.
unfortunate.
It is like getting likes from hundreds of people that you don't even know.
And they don't
Yeah.
even see the real story. They see what you're
Exactly.
putting out there. It's not
Exactly.
even, like,
I could
yeah,
look like the
it's depressing.
happiest comedian, most successful comedian in the world but nobody saw. I don't post a picture of me at an open mic in front of 2 people. You know, they only see the cool stuff. They see if you do like a theater or if you do like a packed room.
And
you
then
know?
you only get more followers if you have a certain amount.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he has something.
Yeah, like who the hell is gonna follow? Like that would be funny. An Instagram of just like the realest dude ever, like just working a 9 to 5, filling up my gas. It's just like
Shows a shot of his bank account, like $4.84.
still living in my parents'
Trying to hit the
basement.
dollar
It's
store.
like-
with me.
Like that would be hilarious.
Yeah.
If, like you were just so real, so everyone just knows like
That
who
might
you
work
are.
though. That
Yeah.
actually might work.
yeah,
I think we're so fake now that it
it
wouldn't
is.
work.
Yeah,
But
Yeah,
if it's funny though, if
Yeah.
you can do it to where it's funny and it makes people genuinely laugh.
I think you could get a
Or to
follow.
relate.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Even if they're laughing at you, like
Yeah.
that's the intention, right? It's like you're doing that purposefully. Like, go ahead and laugh at me. It's fun.
That reminds me of the one Seinfeld episode when George goes up to the girl he likes. He's like, I'm 48, I have no job, and I live with my parents. The girl's like, all right, let's go out. Like, if you were that blunt,
Yeah, be honest.
man, I respect that.
You
Just
are.
lay it all on the line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I dig it.
All right, let's talk about charity.
Let's
So-
do it.
Okay.
That's kind of why we really wanted to talk to you
For
about
sure.
what you're doing. So, what exactly is your charity about? And who are you helping? And
Yes.
what
So charity's called Healing Hats and Toys. So throughout the year, we have different fundraisers, whether it's a beef and beer or last year we had our first designer bag bingo. We try to do something creative, like every different time. Like I did comedy shows that are called Laughter's the Best Medicine, and all the ticket sales go to
That's
charity.
nice.
So what we do is, so we have the different fundraisers throughout the year, and then all the money we make, we're what's called a 501c3 nonprofit, which
Yeah.
means that we don't make any money. Like me and my brother, we don't have an income. Everything we do is solely for the kids. So what we do is we do these fundraisers, we raise money, and then we go out and we buy thousands of toys, hats and toys. We called it Healing Hats and Toys because when I was going through chemo and I had cancer, I always wore a hat. I still wear a hat nowadays because when I was bald, I was like very self-confident about myself. Like I knew that I was different from everybody else. So like literally if you look through my old family albums, always rocked a hat. And I had a nice set of hair like when I was younger before I had cancer. But it was just like I always rocked the hat. I rock it frontwards. Like I thought I was cool in some pictures and rocked it backwards and like. But I always like whenever I went out, the hat has to match the shoes. Like that's
Oh,
it.
wow.
It has to go
Okay.
with that. But so that is how the kids feel. When they go bald, like they lose hair and they lose self confidence. So we definitely wanted to get hats, like cool hats for them. So
That's really awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
yeah, so it's I think as of this past year, we donated over 50,000 hats and toys through these past couple years. So
Touched so many lives.
yeah, so we go to like Children's Hospital. We go to St. Edmund's Home for Children, which is the craziest place in the world. These kids are
Where's
like, it is in Lower Merion,
Okay.
and these kids got abandoned by their parents, and these kids, half of them can't talk, half of them can't hear. They're wheelchair bound. They need to be fed. They need to get some are still wearing diapers at like 12. Like these kids, like literally, like it's just like the worst situation. But this housing development has hundreds of kids, and they all have their own room, and they let the kids decorate the room like whatever they want. So like there's Phillies fans, so like Sometimes they got like professional muralists to like do like the Philly skyline or like Citizens Bank Park and stuff like that. It's beautiful. It's so cool. So we go there, St. Christopher's, the Ronald McDonald House. And then we even throughout the year, when we build it somewhat of like a reputation, people would come to us if their kid is actually going through cancer or life-threatening illness, whichever it is. And we'll make house visits. So we'll talk to his parents, like, what's this kid like? And then we'll go out. I remember this one kid, he liked like video games. So we bought him a TV, we bought him an Xbox 360, we bought him like 10 video games, and we just showed up at his house and we're like, here you go. Like,
I can only imagine how happy that must have made him.
That's like seeing those kids smile is like literally there's no paycheck that can like top that. It's like the coolest thing in the world. Another kid like aquariums and stuff. So we got this like little aquarium and like you put like trees and sand in it and stuff like that. And we cut checks for the family because medical bills are outrageous.
Yeah. Insurance can cover everything. And
exactly.
Like,
barely anything.
Yeah. It comes to times like sometimes like dads or parents get fired from their job because they're spending so much time with their kid in the hospital, but it's like, it's business. So they're like, listen, if you
end up losing the insurance.
Exactly.
And they have to go on Cobra or whatever.
But so that's what we do. So probably like a couple weeks before Christmas every year, either my dad or one of our friends will dress up as Santa, and then we'll go to all these different places and do drop-offs and stuff like that, which is really cool.
Do they write letters? So how do you know what they want to hear it?
So for St. Edmunds, somehow, do you guys remember Jameer Nelson from St. Joe's? He played basketball and then he was in the NBA. I don't know if he's still in the NBA or not.
No, I don't.
But he was on the Orlando Magic a couple like years ago. Yeah. And every summer he brings his players to Philly and they practice at a local college. So one time, like we heard that they were going to be there. So me and my brother and our two friends went there. And like Jameer Nelson was there, Vince Carter was there, and we talked to Jameer and we talked to their manager, and then we got hooked up with Cornerstone Management, and they donated like 50 pairs of shoes, like Converse shoes, the one year, which was really dope. Yeah, so we went to St. Edmunds because they're always in shoes and stuff like that, and some of them had like the dirty shoes that they've had for years and stuff like that, and then. Like the next Christmas we go and they're all like rocking like Converse and stuff like that, which is really cool. The 1 year at St. Christopher's, former Flyer, I think Jody Shelley, he was a defenseman on the Flyers, and Ian LePerriere, who's the assistant coach for the Flyers. They came to St. Christopher's with us, so they were like signing autographs for the kids and stuff like that, and giving them their cards and all that stuff. So that was really cool.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of sports figures are really doing stuff to give back.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. So it's, and like the Sixers organization, we have a friend who works there. So like during our events, we have like raffles and stuff. So they'll always give us like a Sixer raffle. So it'll be like a signed poster, like maybe some tickets or something like that. But yeah, so that's mainly like what we do. We have different fundraisers throughout the year, and then we buy all these hats and toys, and then we go to all the different places like 2 weeks before Christmas to bring a little bit of Christmas cheer for the kids. So.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So if someone wanted to help support you, where would they go?
Yeah, so you could like our page on Facebook, facebook.com, Healing Hats and Toys. That has all of our information there. It has all of our events. It has our mailing address if you want to mail in a donation. And then also November 9th, Saturday, we're having a designer bag bingo. It's at O'Brien Hall. It's in Drexel Hill at St. Bernadette School. All this is on our website as well. But last year we did our first one, and it was very successful. We had like 160 people show up to our first one. And that time we just did girls. So like we just got like pocketbooks for girls and stuff like that. But this year we're doing a co-ed one, which we didn't even know co-ed bingos were a thing. I don't know if we're making up the first one or whatever, but we have purses for the girls. And then we have a bunch of stuff for the guys. So we have like a Bryce Harper jersey. We have an Eagle shirt, Flyers shirt. We have a big cooler for fishing.
Girls want Eagle shirts too.
Yeah, they could go in for it. No discrimination. And a Project Rock, the Rock teamed up with Under Armour, and he does like a lot of working out like a working out line. So we we got like his gym bag. So that's going to be up there
amazing.
too.
Is that like an Under Armour thing? Doesn't
Yeah,
it?
And
Under
you
Armour, man.
organize all this, like all these people coming together. It's a lot.
It's crazy.
And
So
people
what
can
you do-
find out about the bingo and sign up for it through
On
the
our
Facebook
on our
page.
Facebook,
So
yeah.
it's
So we have that
Facebook.com/
page. Healing Hats and Toys.
Healing Hats and Toys.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
And we'll probably post like something on our social media.
Yeah,
too,
Yeah,
so
I'll
people
put a
can take
link.
look at.
After the live stream finishes, I can update it and put links and stuff on
Yeah,
it.
for sure.
Yeah.
And we'll share it on our social media as well. Anything to help push it. I think
Yeah.
it's a great cause.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's
And what are these bracelets that you
Yes.
have with you?
These were when we just started out and we were broke. We made wristbands because that was when like Live Strong's like
Yeah,
were
yeah, I
a thing
remember
and
this.
everybody was wearing bands. So we got Healing
Thank
Hats and
you.
Toys ones. Our colors are baby blue and pink for girls, blue for the guys.
This is
And
really
awesome.
cute.
That's
Yeah.
our logo is actually the same thing.
that's
yeah,
awesome.
the pink and the blue.
Yeah. So we got them, and then we have some T-shirts as well that we
Thank you
sell.
for this.
Yeah, no problem.
Every time I'm bad, so I'm gonna give myself a snap.
Punish
They
yourself.
say that's an anxiety thing too.
Yeah.
Like if like
Snap
you
it?
keep having negative thoughts and you wear a rubber band, because once you snap it, like your brain stops thinking about like what you
Yeah.
were thinking.
Brings you right back.
Never
Yeah.
I'm gonna be snapping a lot.
Yeah, you learn
You're
something
gonna break
new.
it.
Learn something new every day.
That's cool. So let's talk about your date with Pamela Anderson.
Oh, you saw that.
Oh, yeah, that's
Oh.
right. I'm
Bring
glad you
that up.
remembered that.
Oh yeah. So when I was battling cancer, I had a Make-A-Wish.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh, can you explain a little bit about Make-A-Wish in case
So,
you don't know? I mean, it's
yeah,
very
so
popular,
Make-A-Wish
just in case.
Foundation, Make-A-Wish Foundation of America, amazing organization. They make kids who are battling cancer or other life-threatening illnesses dreams come true. So if they want to meet an actor, if they want to meet a wrestler, if they want to meet a sports star, if they want to be a cop for a day, if they want to be in a movie, like they literally make it happen.
Yeah.
John Cena, he's a wrestler. He's also
Yeah.
an actor. He has the most Make-A-Wishes ever
Yeah.
so far. He has like 600
So,
and something.
so children request to see him. Or
Children
spend the day with
request
him,
to see him, so
and then
he'll
they
bring
honor
them.
that.
He'll bring them to a set, or he'll
Mhm.
bring them to a wrestling event. He'll hang out backstage. Or
Does Make-A-Wish pay them, or are they volunteering their
no,
time?
they're volunteering their
Oh,
time,
wow.
and the thing with it is just like it could be anything that is like really cool. This one kid wanted to be Batman, so they turned his whole town into like Gotham, and they made him
Whoa.
little Bat Boy, and he had a Batmobile and stuff, and like he stopped robbers from a bank. Like it's just amazing
really sweet.
organization. But when I had a Make-A-Wish, this was before like all the celebrities and like all this cool stuff was happening. So I was very limited on what I could or couldn't choose.
You
So
went for the gusto.
Yeah.
I did.
Pam Anderson.
Wait, how old were you when you did this request?
Oh my God, I think I was six
Oh,
or
you're
7.
Great.
Yeah. I shoot your shot, buddy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they asked what I wanted, and this is like when Baywatch was a thing, and I was like, I want to date with. I was like, I want to date with Pamela
You asked for
Anderson.
a date specifically.
Yeah, I
not just
asked a
spend time
date.
with
I
her.
said a date.
date.
I was like,
I
I
like
want
that.
to
A lot of
date
slow
with
motion
Pamela
running.
Anderson.
Yeah, beach
Yeah.
shots.
And the guy obviously turned it down. He's like, it can't happen. And then
No.
I was like,
Wait, who turned it down? It wasn't Pamela. It was
no.
the Make-A-Wish?
I think it was just
Aw.
because this was before like it is as established as
Okay.
it is now. So it's been like 20 something years since that happened. So it's like huge now. But yeah, so I asked for a date. Pamela Anderson, they couldn't do it. Then I asked for a Corvette.
Oh,
Couldn't do
see,
that
the
either.
dreams,
Man,
I like
yeah.
it.
Come on, make a
And,
wish.
yeah, and then the guy
To
was
make the
like,
wishes come true.
the guy was like, how about a free trip to Disneyland? And I was like, I guess. I mean, I really don't have any options.
That's a pretty good like second place prize.
Yeah.
It was dope though because I was like, I got a limo escort from my house to the airport, and then I had like this button. It was like VIP, so we didn't have to wait in any lines at all. So it was a pretty sweet deal. Like
And
we got to
too.
do whatever, and it was cool. Yeah, my whole family, like my dad, my brother, and my mom, and it was dope. Like we had a great time. But I make a bit about that. I say how I want to date with Pamela Anderson, and they turned it down. It was kind of like Christmas Story, when Ralphie said that he wanted a BB gun and they just offered him a bullshit football. Like Pamela Anderson was my BB gun and Disney was my football. But it was a sweet. It was sweet. It was cool. It was cool. But then, like recently, I have this thing. I don't know why. I think it's just the way I word things. I don't know why, but like, I do get like reactions from celebrities on Twitter.
Yeah.
I think because it's not like the same thing. Like I don't know why. I get responses. I don't know why. But I was just
Pam
bored.
Anderson slid in your DM.
Hey, I was just bored one day, and I said, I just saw Pam Anderson tweeted something, and I said, back in 1996, when I was battling cancer, my make-a-wish was I wanted a date with Pam Anderson, but I couldn't get that. I was like, I'll settle in 2019, and she'll just acknowledge me. So she quoted the tweet, and she tweeted me back, and she's like, hey, sweetie, I'm always up for doing a make-a-wish. I'm so sorry that they couldn't make it happen. I hope you're doing good, love. And still didn't get a date, but she acknowledged.
That's awesome.
But yeah, that was
That's awesome. She did that.
it was cool.
Did you
It was
screenshot
really
the tweet?
I did,
Post
man.
it?
Yeah, I did.
That's how I saw it. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, wow.
Oh, that's how you saw it.
I said, life came around full circle today.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
That's
did.
awesome.
I did. I'm gonna frame it properly. But then, it's just like weird. Like, I remember I did a bit at Helium, and I said something about Cecily Tynan, the newscaster, and I said that I tweeted, I did a bit about Cecily Tynan today at Helium. She got a big pop, and she like retweeted and quoted it, and like my phone was like blowing up, and then everyone's like, oh, you should make this happen, like go on a date, and she's like, I'm married. I'm like, I'm not saying a date, like. I'll go out with your husband too. Let's like get a beer or something.
Some people are into that.
But yeah, it was
Oh,
fun.
goodness.
It's weird. Got turned down by like a couple of divas, like wrestling divas on mine too. But yeah, what are you gonna do?
And you got the Stone Cold shirt.
I do have the Stone Cold shirt.
Stone Cold.
Big wrestling fan. But,
So, Chris, before we wrap up, because we're just about over time right now, do you have any events coming up, any shows, anything that you want to shout out and let people know about?
On your social medias.
Yeah, follow me on Instagram, CFJN2504. I post every show that I have on my socials. You can just add me on Facebook at Chris Nee, NEE, and Twitter, Chris Nee Comedy. But I'm working on end of the year and 2020 dates right now, but I just can't mention anything yet because nothing. Like I have to wait till everything's like set in stone.
Okay.
A lot of times you book gigs and then it falls apart. But yeah, so I'm gonna have a lot of gigs in 2020. So the new year starting out. Last week I was doing like 3 shows at Philly Comedy Club, and then I'll probably be there a couple times before the end of the new year.
Right on, man.
Atlantic
I
City
think you
Comedy
got
Club.
a bright future ahead of you,
I
my friend.
appreciate
You're
that.
amazing.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. This is awesome.
And you're a really good guy. Everything
You
you're doing
are.
with
I appreciate
charity and
that.
stuff. There's there's tons of people in comedy, but the fact that you're using that as a platform and merging that with something that gives back is really phenomenal.
That's how I looked at I said I wanted to be like I want to be a famous comedian, not for the fame. I wanted to do it because I wanted to be a role model for kids suffering from cancer who are laying in that bed thinking that this is it. Like they can't amount to anything. Like that's all I want is
You've been there.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to be a role model for people to just go after their dreams and just like you literally can do whatever you want in your life. And that's always been my main goal is that. That's what I consider fame is if somebody looked at me and said, because of you, I didn't quit. That's what it is.
Right on.
Yeah.
Chris.
I appreciate you guys. Oh, I scared you tall.
That's all right. Actually, one of our subscribers said that he's going to let his corpse company know and help collect for your charity.
Oh.
So I'll link you guys up when this is all done.
That's
Did
amazing.
anybody have any questions or anything?
No questions, just comments. Kind of just chimed in throughout the show. It's mostly this dude. Tyler, thank you for being like a staunch supporter.
Tyler.
You're always
Shout out to Tyler.
Yeah,
I think
awesome.
he's hanging in there, hanging strong.
there we go. I think someone commented on my Instagram saying I can't wait to tune in. Maybe that was Tyler. That's you. Thank you, Tyler. I appreciate it.
All right, so we'll see you guys next time. We're going away to New Orleans this weekend.
Yeah.
But when we come back, we are doing our next podcast on October 9th. Is that right?
But we might have one in between. We might podcast from New Orleans, so we'll see.
Yeah, we'll let you know through our social media, but we'll either have one between now and October 9th, or that would be the next one. So thank you guys. Human Collective signing out.
Bye.